Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. We'll start with the headlines. More than 15 kilometers of the second phase of Ibri-Yanqul dual road will be open for traffic movement by the end of the current year. The number of international flights to Sohar Airport increased to reach 15 weekly flights. An underground bomb attack in London injures 22 as police consider it a terrorist incident. And China condemns North Korea's latest missile launch and calls for all sides to seek dialogue to reduce tension. Those are the headlines, and now for the news in details. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Enrique Pena Nieto of Mexico on his country's independence anniversary. More than 15 kilometers of the second phase of Ibri-Yanqul dual road will be opened for traffic movement before the end of the current year. This pivotal road being implemented is at the length of 39 kilometers. It costs more than 48 million Omani riyals. It starts from Al-Arad village in the wilaya of Ibri and ends at the Yanqul-Sohar junction, and it will connect the wilayas of the governorate of Dhahira with the wilayas of the governorate of North Batna. 4 other roads are rehabilitated and linked with this project by the implementing company, and the first phase of the project was opened earlier last year at the length of 5 kilometers. The number of international flights to Sohar Airport increased to reach 15 weekly flights. This came after the Public Authority for Civil Aviation agreed to increase the number of flights through Qatari Airlines to the airport to reach 7 weekly flights starting last October. The current situation will reflect positively on the economic movement as well as contributing and attracting new investment opportunities to the country and especially the governorate of North Batna. On the domestic level, the airport also operates internal flights of Salam Air between Sohar and Salalah. Oman oil price November delivery reached $54.01 per barrel. According to the Dubai Mercantile Exchange, Oman oil price increased by 9 cents. The average price of Oman oil October delivery reached $50.39 per barrel, thus $2.76 higher than the price of September's delivery. The total value of Treasury bills for the issue of the 41st of government Treasury bills amounted to 38 million Omani riyals for a maturity period of 28 days, starting from the 13th of September till the 11th of October. The statement issued by the Central Bank of Oman said that the average accepted price amounted to 99 riyals and 920 bases for every 100 riyals. It also pointed out that the interest price of the repurchase or repo operations with the bank is 1.7% for the period from the 12th till the 18th of September, whereas the discounted price with CBO on Treasury bills facilities is 2.4% for the same period. The Treasury bills are short-term, highly secured financial instruments issued by the CBO on behalf of the government to provide investment outlets for licensed commercial banks. Within the context of enhancing commercial partnership between Arab countries and China, an exhibition titled China and Arab States was held in Ningxia City in China. The Sultanate participated with a delegation headed by His Excellency Yahya Jabri, Chairman of the Qum Special Economic Zone Authority. It presented and promoted investment opportunities available in the Sultanate to attract Chinese companies. The high-ranking participation highlights the attention given by the Sultanate to develop trade and investment relations with China. And still to come in our news bulletin. Caught up in the grip of a global economic downturn and the related slump in commodities prices, the Nambian government considers tourism as a key to diversifying the sluggish economy. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. At least 22 people were injured after a bomb detonated on a packed London Underground train during the morning rush hour today in what police are treating as a terrorist incident. Witnesses reported seeing a wall of fire and passengers with facial burns and hair coming off at Parsons Green Station in West London after the explosion on the train. Counter-terror police chief said most of the injuries were due to flash burns, while others were wounded by the stampede as passengers ran out of the station in panic. The mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said there is a manhunt underway and urged Londoners to remain calm and vigilant. Prime Minister Theresa May said her thoughts were with the injured and emergency services had responded swiftly and bravely. She later chaired an emergency cabinet meeting. China's foreign ministry today condemned North Korea's latest missile launch and called for all sides to seek dialogue to reduce tension. Spokeswoman Hu Chunying told reporters at a regular briefing that the situation on the Korean peninsula following today's longest ever test flight of a ballistic missile remains complex, sensitive and severe. Hua urged all parties to avoid actions that might inflame the situation, while adding that China, North Korea's chief economic partner and diplomatic ally, did not hold the key to resolving the issue. China, one of the 5 permanent veto-wielding members of the UN Security Council, agreed to the latest sanctions that cap fuel exports, ban textile sales, and forbid countries from issuing new work permits to North Korean workers. Hua said China, which accounts for roughly 90% of North Korea's foreign trade, has made enormous sacrifices and paid a great price for the implementation of the UN sanctions. Key players in the Syrian war on Friday thrashed out more details of a Russian-led plan to ease 6 years of violence at the latest rounds of talks in Kazakhstan's capital, Astana. The talks are co-sponsored by Syrian government backers Russia and Iran and rebel supporter Turkey, but Moscow has been the key driving force for the meeting since they began in January. The diplomatic push brings together the Syrian government and representatives of the opposition, including some key armed groups who had previously steered clear of other negotiations. While the United Nations has got increasingly involved, the Astana process has seen Moscow, Ankara and Tehran largely sideline the West. The United States is limited to only sending an observer mission, as well as its regional ally Jordan. Russia, Iran and Turkey in May agreed a plan to set up 4 de-escalation zones to halt fighting in flashpoint territories held by the moderate rebels. Typhoon Doksuri wreaked havoc on central Vietnam, lashing the coast with fierce winds and heavy rains as tens of thousands were evacuated and 3 people were reported dead in the country's worst storm in years. Trees and billboards were torn down and thousands of homes damaged as the storm made landfall, causing flooding and power outages along a large swath of coastline. Roads were mostly deserted in Ha Tinh province, though emergency vehicles were seen speeding towards the coast. Elsewhere in the province, a large telecommunication tower collapsed, reported the state-run Vietnam television. The tourism industry in Namibia is booming, with more and more international visitors choosing to holiday there. Now, local authorities and businesses are pushing for increased investment in the sector, hoping to help kickstart the former German colony's ailing economy. Here's a report.
Anouk and her husband are in Namibia on their honeymoon, and the young Dutch couple don't regret their choice of destination. In the span of a few days, they've slept under the stars in the desert, taken a scenic ride in a hot air balloon, and been kayaking with seals. Gian Mainkies has been taking tourists kayaking in Walvis Bay for the last 20 years, and business is as busy as ever.
The tourism has grown over the years, and I think more and more people enjoy doing something more activity way. And again, with kayaking, it's easy to do it that way and getting so close to nature.
Namibia's dramatic landscape and plentiful wildlife are key draws, attracting hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. Over the past decade, tourist numbers have increased steadily, growth aided by the weak local currency.
I've mainly done Asia, which is much cheaper in general. Africa, especially Tanzania, Kenya, are known to be very expensive destinations. But I think that Namibia has not yet reached the level of those kind of countries. I think it's relatively affordable.
Kolmanskop, a ghostly abandoned former mining town dating back to the German colony, is among Namibia's most visited attractions. Tourism generates around €1 billion annually, the country's third largest source of income, surpassed only by mining and fishing. The government considers tourism as a key to diversifying the sluggish economy, but many industry professionals believe much more investment is needed.
There's times that I cannot get you accommodation for love or money. We have very distinct seasonality, but even in what would be shoulder season, we've had huge difficulty trying to get confirmed the kind of accommodation, the kind of experiences that people are looking for.
With a population of only 2.5 million people stretched over 800,000 square kilometers, Namibia has plenty of room for more visitors, though some might argue that the unspoiled natural beauty and the wide open spaces it offers are exactly what makes it such an idyllic tourist destination.
And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and its nearby mountains, and the rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of scattered rainfall over the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be southerly to southeasterly, light to moderate, and seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1 meter. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. More than 15 kilometers of the second phase of Ibri Yanqul Dual Road will be open for traffic movement by the end of the current year. The number of international flights to Sohar Airport increased to reach 15 weekly flights. An underground bomb attack in London injures 22 as police consider it a terrorist incident. And China condemns North Korea's latest missile launch and calls for all sides to seek dialogue to reduce tension. With that, we come to an end to tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, good night.